he gets down on one knee and he proposes. Okay, can't listen.
No,
it's okay.
Okay.
Eid Mubarak.
I'm just gonna keep that all in.
Yeah. We have to look polished for our audience. Otherwise, they're gonna think that we are.
They already know. We never start the podcast. Like we literally started one podcast with like talking about feet pics.
I feel like if we ever tried to be like super polished, we would probably start laughing.
Yeah, like and it wouldn't feel right. We literally tried that. Remember for the
live show?
The live show?
The last time we tried to do rehearsed lines.
Did I put the bloopers of that somewhere? No?
I feel like we saw it.
Yeah.
Did you just show it to me like when we laughed?
Maybe.
And we never like posted it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think you should post it.
I don't know. I don't think we should. Maybe we should. I don't. That's so weird how you like do so much stuff that you forget what you posted.
You know why?
You forget what you said? What?
I think you like included a couple of the outtakes in the actual clip itself.
Maybe.
Potentially.
We're gonna have to
check it.
That. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Cousin
Connection
podcast. I know we missed last week, and that's like I feel like that should be the name of the podcast at this point.
I know we missed last week.
I know we missed last week.
Well, you know what?
It was literally on the day we record. Eid was on the day we record.
All things considered, I feel like we're still pretty consistent overall.
Oh yeah. You know, compared to the others.
And well, we don't want to compare to others because like everyone's in their own podcasting
I've been listening to this. I have a lot of podcasts in my past that I've listened to and have been disappointed where they just randomly stop posting, or they'll post like once and it'll be gone for like a month.
You mean us?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take that back.
I mean, one thing I actually wanna call out, which I don't see is on our little board here.
Is it not?
No.
Well, what is it?
It is officially our 4-year anniversary.
Is it?
Well, April, I think 21st, but like.
It's close enough.
Close enough. Guys, we started this podcast in April of 2021.
Damn. Has it really been that long?
Yes.
It doesn't feel like that.
It doesn't. It feels like we're a brand new podcast, but.
That means like the pandemic was 5 years ago. Started 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
Yeah. It seems like it was literally like last year.
I feel like when we. Like 4 years is a huge accomplishment, but I can't remember who we were talking about this with, but we were saying like when we hit our 200th episode, we'll try to do something like special. I think for the 100th, we did the Hot Ones challenge. We're not going to do something stupid like that again.
Maybe just another live show? I don't know, man. That was a lot of work. I don't know if we can do that. We joked about like doing it like quarterly, or people trying to get us to do like quarterly.
Sent me to the hospital.
Oh yeah, literally.
but I think that would be cool.
Yeah. But, we're going to work on that because we still got a long way to go. If you think about it, right now we're at 165. This is episode 165. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button. Leave a comment. Do all that stuff. Engage. To get back to it. We're at 165. So to get to 200, that's 35 episodes. 35 episodes is like 9 months or more. It's like more than half a year because 52 weeks is 1 year. And, we might be missing a few more weeks. I'm just saying, we go travel. We're going to be here and there. So let's say like, I think 9 months is roughly where we'll be at 200. And what month is that? That will literally be like...
the end of the year?
Yeah. Maybe it'll just be like an annual live show recap.
Every December, we just decide to like do a live show.
Right when the seasonal depression starts hitting, get ready for a live show.
Cousin Connection is here to save the day in your mental health.
Yeah, because it's recently just been... She's been hitting fan out here, especially weather-wise.
I know. We went through like 4 seasons in one day. It was great. Yeah,
like this, just to recap, like this week, I forget what day it was. Was it like Tuesday or Wednesday?
Something like that.
I can't remember. We literally had, and this is a known thing, like it happens at least a few times a year in Toronto, but it was the most extreme version of it where we had 4 seasons in 24 hours.
You know who goes through this and they're probably laughing as they're listening? Who? The Australians.
Oh, do they have this? But they don't have it like we had it.
No, in Melbourne?
Yeah.
They literally would go through like their version of 4 seasons because like...
Exactly. See, that's what I'm saying. It's not the same. When we literally had a snowstorm. We had a snowstorm. Then we had a rainstorm.
It was weird to like see snow but hear thunder.
Yeah.
I was like, huh?
It literally transitioned from a snowstorm to a rainstorm. And then to...
was it the next day or the day after it was 20 degrees?
It was throughout the night. it increased to 20 degrees.
So strange.
Yeah, we had like 3 different extreme weather changes.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're talking like people were in winter jackets, like trying to avoid getting ice in their face the 24 hours before, and 24 hours later, they're outside in t-shirts and shorts.
It's very odd.
It was the most odd experience. Like, I feel bad for my wife who was coming from Dallas. Like, I was telling her, yeah, don't worry. April showers. It's going to be getting nice and warm and stuff. Things will get better.
That's a lie.
And yeah, she's like, where is the blooming? Why don't we see, plants and stuff or growing and trees growing?
She's still out here in a super puff in April. Like, I actually feel bad for her.
Yeah, I'm trying, guys, If you
Amir's like, let's go do some activities.
Yeah.
But then like the journey to the activity is treacherous.
Yeah, like I think I was telling you earlier where I think it was on Friday, just another recap, we went to just, check out the art gallery. And the journey there was fine, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't live too far from it, so we took the subway there and that was all good. We got to the art gallery. We kind of got there a little late, so we're kind of rushing, whatever, trying to see everything. But on our journey back, of course, TTC, they, best subway line in the country. They, of course, shut down like midway through our journey back. So they're like, okay, guys, and the thing that I hate about the TTC is that their sound system is so like,
I know.
You can't hear nothing. You can't hear anything. So you're trying to decipher what they're saying, and you just kind of have to go off of what people are doing. So people just like, I guess people, those who understand TTC speaker language, they got up and started walking out. So eventually we waited like 10 minutes. You got to wait that 10 minutes, right? Just in case it's a false alarm. And we got up and stepped out, and it was closed down to the point where when we exited, like all the entrances to the subway were shut down. Like they basically would not let anyone in. So we thought, okay, it's a full shutdown. So they say shuttles are coming in like 5 minutes. We go out and we stand on the street. First reminder, like I know we said it was just 20 degrees earlier, but the next day it went back down to like 0 degrees, right? And we weren't prepared for that. We were prepared for being in the subway where it's at least somewhat warm, right? We weren't prepared to be like stuck outside. And we were stuck outside for 20 to 30 minutes. Just waiting for this non-existent shuttle bus, to the point where like we were just like conversing and like we're just waiting, right? And because we were the first people to get to the shuttle stop, we were facing forward into the street, and there was a bunch of people. At one point we looked back, there's a bunch of people behind us, and we continued doing that. And then you get to that point where like, is it Uber time? I know we already invested in this, like we waited this long, but when do you have to make that call? So literally the moment we made that call to just take the Uber, we look back and we're like, there's no one here. And I see every person who was standing behind us start walking back to the subway. And we find out that literally 2 minutes after I've ordered this Uber, the train has started again. That's why the shuttle bus never showed up. They were holding out, I guess. And
I feel like because you don't take the TTC that often, it's like you almost don't know the mannerisms.
Yeah, but like the fact that it happened, she knew it was gonna happen. Like she was kind of calling it. She was already like talking ish about the TTC. Yeah. The fact that it happened as she was doing that too, or like she was kind of predicting it's gonna happen, it kind of just destroyed the like whole the rose-colored glasses we have about public transit in a big metropolitan city.
I mean,
because it happens. You can't lie. It happens very often in the city.
It does.
More often than it should.
But there's still a lot of like, the good thing about the TTC is like the reach, and like the expansions, like the YRTs and the
but how many of those lines are still under construction? Like Eglinton line, there's a reason they haven't been talking about the Eglinton line. Because look, as someone who used to live in Scarborough, I could see it's all done. Yeah. It's all ready to go.
I've even seen the test trains.
Yeah, they've been having test trains for literally years there, right? And nothing has been heard from them, like about whether they're going to start it soon. Yeah. Like they keep pushing back the date. It's over budget already. They've delayed it for multiple years at this point, to the point where like they're like, let's just hope that people forgot about this line and just.
Yeah, right. They literally ruined Eglinton Avenue.
Yeah, and that's one thing. And then they have like a Finch line that they're working on as well. There's a few lines that they're working on, which first off, it doesn't make sense. They're all above ground in a city where above ground transit is the worst option, because we saw what happened to the LRT in the Scarborough. Yeah, that literally got destroyed because it was so hard to maintain, and it was always down for maintenance because it was outside, and we have extreme weather here. Yeah, so our infrastructure is not built for this weather.
there's also not enough space. Like, we already struggle with traffic in and of itself.
Yeah.
Funny enough, actually, I have to tell you a story. Total side note, okay? Total side note. So my dad and I go to work together, and we were driving home, and, you know, the DVP during rush hour is already, like, bad, like, on its own.
Yeah.
But there were 2 accidents that day. And so we got off at, I think it was, like, Lawrence, like, not near Shops at Don Mills area.
Yeah.
And, of course, the day that we happened to take that route, thinking we were, like, you know, escaped and, like, found a faster path, there was a friggin' fire. Did you see that in the news? There was a building on fire, and like, unfortunately, I think 1 or 2 people passed away. Oh, really? Yeah, like, it was pretty bad.
This was on Don Mills?
Like, close by. Like, it was basically the route that the GPS was taking us. Only for that road to be closed, because the police were like, no, like, there's a investigation. Oh, I guess
the GPS never accounted for it yet.
No, because it just happened. Like, it was just happening.
Yeah.
And so it ended up taking us 2 hours to get home that day. It was great. We got home at 7 o'clock.
We all have one of those stories where, like, what should normally be a 1 hour drive, or what you expect to be a 1 hour drive, which should be a 30-minute drive, turns into like a 2 or 3 hour drive. There's one time where I was stuck.
New Year's Eve.
I think
New Year's Eve.
No. This was coming back from work.
Oh, from work.
This was, like, so bad that I was stuck, like, on a road, and I think, like, this was in the middle of winter, to where when I left, like, Maghrib had not come in yet. And by the time I get home, Isha would come in, right?
Yeah.
So, and usually there's a spot that I would stop off somewhere halfway. It literally, there was so much traffic that I didn't even make it to the spot that I could stop off. I was still stuck on the road because I was stuck at this one spot without moving for like an hour plus. Yeah. I did not know what to, I think at that point, I think I had to, like, get out of the car and, you know, like, the side streets, not side streets, but like, yeah, like a side street.
The shoulder of the
shoulder,
highway?
Exactly. Sorry, on the shoulder of the highway. I had to jump out of there, and it was also snowing. That's the reason it was bad. So I'm doing this. My salat kalim. Oh,
prayer mat.
My prayer mat was wet, soaking wet.
Was it the plastic one at least?
Wet. What? No, it was the
cloth
one. You see, yeah.
Damn.
Because normally it's thick enough, like, it has this, like, material on the bottom where even if it is kind of wet outside, it's still okay.
Yeah.
But it was just really bad this day.
Damn. I don't know. I feel like we already kind of complain about Toronto's infrastructure.
Yeah, everybody's sick of us hearing about this now.
But listen, if you're not from here now, you know what it feels like.
Yeah.
So don't move here. Sorry, Hanan. I know you're already here and you're kind of stuck here, but
yeah, we don't need more people. Okay, I'm just saying we're trying to get the prices to come down. We'll see what's gonna happen in the next few weeks because of all this other stuff we're going to go on. We'll get into that later. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what else for the recap of the week? I think we talked, at least for me, those are the 2 main things. Outside of that today, you know, I went to, like, High Park for the first time. Not for the first time. I've been to High Park because, like, you know, now I'm trying to, like, show my wife the city and stuff. And I feel like High Park, as Easterners, we're both Easterners, is, like, something we just never.
Yeah, the farthest
it wasn't something we would go to.
Like Riverdale. We've done Riverdale.
Yeah,
Park.
think of High Park like Central Park. If you're.
Is it really like Central Park?
Yeah, it's similar to Central Park in that, like, it has, like, a zoo, which we actually, for the first time I went to, and I didn't know what to expect. It was more, but sort of what I was expecting. It was more than what I was expecting, but kind of, like, not that much more than what I was expecting. But there were actually animals there.
I see. I didn't know that.
It's not like, yeah, it's not like, you know, super exotic animals. Like, you're talking about, the one that I was kind of surprised by was there was a whole bison, like bisons there. Like, these, you know what a bison is, right?
Yeah, like, why?
Yeah, these giant bisons are in there in little, you know, zoo that they have there. And so they had random. Like, one reindeer. Oh. It didn't have any horns because it looks like its horns, like, had fallen off recently.
That's kind of sad.
Yeah, and it had, like, capybaras. You know, capybaras, they're like those giant rodent look. They're like
we have those here?
Yeah.
Those are Australian.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we have them here too.
Okay.
And, you know, they got, your emus, they got your llamas, which the llamas were probably the most, like, interactive because the llamas, the moment you, like, put any food in their face, they're going to come to you, right? So the moment people start swinging stuff, whatever it was in their hand, they started coming over so you can at least like get a closer view of them.
Could you buy snacks for them to eat or no?
No, you're actually not supposed to feed any of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you know the kids, they out here. Like there's kids picking up leaves off the floor and just giving it to the llamas. The llamas were just eating it. They'll take it whatever. Yeah, I felt bad because there was one family where the kid had like a long piece of like wheat or like it had wheat on the end of it or whatever. And I thought she was going to feed it to the llama, and the llama came over and she started teasing the llama, like going back and forth.
That's
and you
so
think the parents would be like, oh no, you know, take it and like give it to the llama or whatever because he really wants it. The parents were like laughing and enjoying this, literally not torturing, but you know,
the llama
playing around with the
face.
llama's emotions, you know. But
yeah,
it was interesting just seeing that and knowing and like not realizing that was next to me the whole time and next to us technically. Like we could have gone there anytime.
Yeah,
I was, I think it's just we always had this like weird aversion to the West End. It was just so far. It felt very far.
Yeah, which is crazy because now that half of you guys live in the West Side,
I know.
I have to do the drive every time.
But now we have a reason. We have like a reason to explore Hyde Park. There's so much there. They have a zoo.
Yeah.
They have like an observatory, I think, like for plants and stuff. I believe they do.
That's not called an observatory. It's called a. What's that word?
It's not an observatory.
No,
I'm pretty sure it's observatory.
No, that's for like stars and stuff, planets.
Oh,
this is a greenhouse.
Yeah, greenhouse. Well, there was a greenhouse, but it wasn't accessible to like regular people.
Oh,
but I think they have another one that's like open to regular people, or maybe that's on another side of the city. I can't remember, but they have some stuff there to see. Okay, they have the cherry blossoms. Maybe we can go for cherry blossom season.
Yeah, because they're not out yet, right? Like
no, not right now.
Okay.
Yeah, right now everything's still just sticks out there.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
But that was something, and then literally we came here.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your recap?
My week. What did I do? I started a new job.
Well, technically,
same company.
Yeah,
different role. I was inspired to be challenged. You know, try something new. I feel like
How different is it from your original job?
Oh, it's very different.
Is it actually?
I have no idea what I'm doing.
I thought you were just doing the same thing with just a different team.
No, like I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's okay because I think I really I love the comfort zone, but I always grow the most when I'm uncomfortable. And it's so interesting. Like, obviously, when you're at work, like you always think about your professional development and your professional growth, but you never realize like how much your personal development happens naturally, anyways. And it's really, you know, what's funny is like, so I started working for the company that I work for before I started this podcast with you.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's funny because the people who knew me when I first started to now, they're always talking about like, oh my God, like you've really blossomed. Like you've just like come out of your shell.
At work?
I guess at work too. And I think it just naturally happened through this podcast too. Like I think it just
glad to know this podcast helping with that.
Well, yeah, that and like also I think it's just the fact that the first maybe 2 years of me working there, like I was very private about my personal life, but now like I have everyone on Instagram, so they see this whole other life and they're just like, who are you? You have a whole podcast?
I think it's because also just generally when we grew up, we were more insular. Like our group was very not connected, but closed off.
Closed off, but we also, I feel like we've always had like two lives. We've always had like our Monday to Friday school life.
That's what I mean by closed off, isn't like when you left school or when you left wherever wherever you were.
No one ever knew what you were doing on the weekend. You were never
exactly.
available. Like, yeah, I think so. And then like now, you know, your life kind of becomes incorporated with work as you make friends with people. Like, you know, they want to see what you're up to, like when you take time off.
That was another thing I forgot. We went at work. We went to escape room, and we did like an escape room, and we had like dinner and stuff for work.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I completely forgot about that.
You mean like this week?
This week, yeah. And we won. We won the escape room too.
Did you?
Yeah, we beat it with like 5 minutes left on the clock.
Was it a scary one?
No. Thankfully, it wasn't. Yeah. When they made that plan, and like it was the day before, because I tend to not check my email as much as work. I'm one of those people, but like. When I saw that it was an escape room, my heart dropped for a second. I immediately went to the guy. I was like, please tell me it's not a scary place. Like, oh, don't worry. We made sure not to do that. Because one of the options was for a live actor. I was like, please not that one.
Which one was this one?
Oh, this is in the West End.
The Downsview one?
No, this is in the West End in Mississauga.
Oh, okay. Got it.
You haven't heard this place.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, like, it's just been an eventful week. I got sick again.
Of course. Come on.
I'm always sick at this point.
What is this? You gotta, I don't know, start eating all the fruit and all the veggies you can get. And
I have.
Like, just change that gut biome. What is it? Yeah, the gut biome thing. What they keep talking about.
Yeah, I started fiber supplements, prebiotics, probiotics, all that
stuff. Exactly.
And trust me, I'm doing it all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm about to be in like tip-top shape for this 5K that we're running together, right?
Yeah, totally.
You didn't sign up, did you?
Yeah,
Amir!
Okay.
Guys, give us 100 likes on this video, 200 likes on this video, and Amir will sign up, and we will both wear custom Cooking Connection shirts. I don't know how we're going to make it, but we will.
Sure. I'll do that. Yeah.
200 likes, and we will make sure to do that.
Yeah. Hit that like button, okay?
Okay.
If you want to see us running and dying on the course.
But to end off my week, yesterday I went to Hassan Phills' This Tour is Jokes.
Isn't it Eid Mubarak?
Well, yes, but it was also like kickstarting This Tour is Jokes. Mashallah, he had 3 sold out shows in Toronto.
I would know. As someone who's a very big procrastinator.
I sent Amir the link like weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, okay, I'll get it. I should have known when he never confirmed. Because the night before, aka Friday night.
It wasn't like the night before.
Okay, it was Thursday night.
Yeah.
He goes, hey, so like, how come there's only one? I'm looking at the tickets and there are only single seats left. I said, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, I'm not sure. And I was like, I would double check with Hassan just in case. Like maybe message him just to be sure. And unfortunately, Hassan confirmed, no, like that's...
Yeah, Mans was like, I guess you're single now.
Yeah. He's like, listen, I know you got married, but I guess you're single tonight.
Oh, my God.
But honestly, like, I know, and he told us this, like, we've had him on our podcast, I think, when we were still we still are nobodies, but like when back then, when we were still fresh and he was still fresh. And at the time he had told us, like, people who don't understand comedy sets don't realize that, like, yes, you have to repeat the jokes because that's your set.
Yeah.
And, like, we've been to a couple of his shows and I can actually say, even if he's telling the same jokes, it's never...
Yeah, he's worked on
the same delivery. And like this was probably the best one, the best show that I've attended. Like all the other ones were always funny too. Yeah. But it was just like the variety of the comedians as well. Like it was such a great like show, and mashallah, like seeing the turnout, and it was also like a big Toronto community reunion too, because I see all these people that I know.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh my God, hey guys.
It's crazy like to see like the people you've seen on your journey.
Yeah.
Because our community still in Toronto is like so not small. Yeah, it is somewhat small. That like the same people that we've met along our growth, like he's met them along the growth. That's why you see the same people and you know them, right?
Exactly. And so I didn't get to stick around and like actually speak to him because as soon as the show ended, the way that just like there were people everywhere. Yeah. And I was like, social anxiety. And so I ran out of there. So yeah, it was good.
When did it finish? I feel like it would have finished like around midnight, no?
Yeah, 11:45. But here's the reason why, because our show started at 9:00. Yeah. Or no, I think it was 9:45. I think, maybe.
Like it was like doors open 9:00 or something like that, right?
Yeah, like it was supposed to start at 9:30, started at 9:45.
Because you also had a show that was right before that one, so I feel like that transition is also takes some time. Yeah, everybody needs to reset.
And he has like a couple special guests, which I think now, like if you follow him on Instagram, you'll see like his uncle is there.
Oh, the Jamaican uncle?
Yeah, and he got dressed up. He wore a suit.
No way.
And he like had a little like thing. It was really funny. Yeah. I'm not gonna say what it was because I don't want to spoil his thing. But it was Please
tell
really
me they were
funny.
Filming.
Yeah, they filmed,
okay, perfect.
They were filming it.
Yeah.
And he also was like at the merch table. The uncle.
Oh really?
Yeah. It was actually really funny. Like I think the sweaters were like $45, so he's like, for less than $1 a day. So yeah, he was it
the That's Crazy shirts?
Yeah, but they had a new colorway.
Oh,
so
really?
It's like a yellow color.
Okay.
But yeah, so that show happened, and I thought it was really like, okay, so the event was sponsored by Muzz Match, or sorry, Muzz. Let me get the name right.
Formerly known as Muzz Match.
And so they had this giant truck with like
Oh
LED
yeah, I saw
screens.
that. Yeah. Outside of it, right?
Yeah, and so I thought that was funny because like the signs, like Muzz's marketing team deserves a raise because
Remember the Mohammed one?
Yes, they've been like, and I didn't remember. We didn't know until we like looked it up. But yeah, so like they did a really great job with that marketing, and then as soon as you walk into the venue, they had a whole like table area where it was like his welcome sign, but then it was like they were handing out free roses, so everyone was
really
taking a rose.
That's why he had a rose in the picture.
Yeah, that's why
I saw all girls with roses. I was like, ooh, who
gave them roses? You thought it was a romantic evening? No, unfortunately not. But Muzz gave out roses, and then they also had like a photo booth as well. But yeah, it was really cool, and they had I think it's MWC, Muslim Welfare Canada.
Oh yeah, the one he's been advertising with recently, like to promote their charities.
Yeah, so they also had a raffle, like $1,000 gift certificate that someone won. And to end off the show, it was actually a really special moment. There was
you got to set it up.
I know.
What was happening?
So let me tell you what was happening. Okay, so we're approaching the end of the show, or at least we thought it was, and you know, throughout the entire night, because the event was sponsored by Muzz, like Hassan did a really good job at incorporating like relationship conversations, like who's married, who's single, and so did the other comedians. So it was like it just flowed. Yeah. And so in the front row, usually if you sit in the front row at a comedy show, you're gonna get picked on. Like that's just how it is. And so there was this couple. And when he was saying like who's married, who's like gonna get married, and then this couple put their hand up, and so they were explaining like they're gonna do their nikah soon, and so yeah, like they were just interacting with him throughout the night. Yeah. And so at one point he's like, okay, so now we're gonna do like a segment where we're actually gonna play a game. Let's pick 2 people who wants to like volunteer. He's looking around. He's like, oh, why don't we do the couple that's gonna get married next week? Might as well just pick you guys. So they're like, okay. So they go on stage, and the whole point of the game is, you know, when you like blindfold yourself and you have to like feel something and guess what it is. Yeah. So that's what they were doing. So he's giving them random objects like a flower, a lint roller, a ketchup packet, and so then, after that, the girl is still blindfolded. The guy takes his off. Yeah. And he gets down on one knee and he proposes. And like, while she was still blindfolded, and he's kneeling, like all the girls are like, oh my, and then
the girls probably like what the
Hassan was like, shh, stop it. So I have a picture of it. I'll send it to Amir so you can put it here.
Send it to me right after this too.
I will I'll send it to you. And so he proposed to her, and she was so shook, like she was crying. It was very cute. Yeah, she did not expect that at all. And so then they obviously take the mics, and he was asking them, like, you know, like the guy said the story. He's like, listen, so, you know, I've been planning this out for like the past month. And basically, like, he was saying that when they were getting to know each other, they wanted to go about it the correct way. And so he spoke to her dad a week into them interacting. Yeah. And their nikah is next week, inshallah. And so her only thing that she asked was like, I want to be proposed to, but I want it to be a surprise, like a complete surprise. Yeah. So then he was like, when they got tickets for this show, he was like, she'll never suspect this, because he was like, it's a week away, and she's been bothering him, like, so, you know, I just want to remind you. And he was like, please stop reminding me. Like, I know, I will figure it out. Just leave it.
Oh, because like, it
was a week away. So she's like, hello? Are you going to propose? And he pulled it off, and all the guys in the audience were like, damn, the bar has been set high. Like, every guy was saying that. Even Hassan was like, all right, guys in the audience, take notes.
Oh my God. And, you know, may Allah bless their marriage.
Ameen.
Shout out. That's the one thing about Hassan. He's like super, you know,
very
supportive, but also he's like easy to get in. Not he interacts with fans and people who are like his followers and stuff a lot easier. He's not like very stush about that. So
so it was very nice to, like, you know, it was like, you know, we had a night full of laughter, and then also like he helped someone get proposed to. So
yeah, shout out to Hassan, the show, and inshallah, you know, he grows even. Well, of course, I know, knowing his work ethic, like
No
this
doubt.
is still just a start. Like I feel like
Yeah.
he's, he's got to make that move to America. That's
I
like the next step
know.
there.
I know.
And then next thing we'll be seeing him like play. I don't know what's the next big thing. What's that thing in New York? The Garden Center, Madison Square Garden.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're manifesting that right now.
Inshallah, Hassan.
Inshallah.
We see that for your future.
Yeah, we'll send this clip directly.
I know. I'm gonna send it to like watch this right now.
Yeah.
Say Amin to all the duas we're making for you.
So, speaking of, Muslim matchmaking sites in general, there's another app that's known in the Muslim community called Salams.
It's direct competition.
It's direct competition at the moment. And recently, they've been hit with some controversy because the owner, or at least, I guess the owner of Salams sold the company to a larger group that is run by a CEO called Spencer Raskoff, who happens to be a Zionist. And like specifically, when I look this guy up, like what makes him that? Because sometimes people can, they can kind of exaggerate things.
Yeah.
But this guy has like intentionally like posted links that are GoFundMes to helping relocate people to like Palestinian territory. Yeah.
What?
After the like October 7th attack, whatever.
This is the guy that owns like Tinder.
Yeah, they own like a bunch of other ones.
Whatever,
exactly.
all those ones.
Yeah, so people have been boycotting it now and like calling them out for this. And like I don't know why they thought this would be a good move for that company. Maybe the people who own Salams are just like, let's just kind of like, we made our money, let's get out of here. And they don't really care about the consequences.
Definition
and who's
of a
using that
sellout.
platform. Exactly. They literally sold out. So that's been like a big controversy recently within the Muslim community.
All I'm thinking about now is how Muzmatch is going to use this to their advantage.
I don't think they even need to do anything different because now that people are actively boycotting it, the only other platform that's currently available to them outside of like the one that we spoke about a while ago called In Pairs, which is, I don't think it's officially launched yet.
I
or
think
at least
it
it
is.
has. Oh, sorry. It has launched.
They're a
So-
little bit unique where like they work with mosques
Masjids,
and
yeah.
stuff.
I think the way he
Masjids.
explained it, I saw a video recently of the In Pairs owner. I forget his name. I'm really bad with names,
Zakaria.
guys. Zakaria, yeah.
Yes.
He posted about it because he was actually speaking about this, He's doing a little bit of this competition now, But he was talking about how, like, In Pairs, how it works, sort of, like a little bit of the back end. And he actually, he was talking about the back end. And essentially he said that, like, because they're working with masjids, it's not going to be like, I don't know, Muhammad in California matches with, like, Maryam in Pennsylvania, right? Where you're automatically setting up, not for failure, but making it hard for them by adding distance to the equation, because then a lot of other things can kind of come into the middle of that. So what he does is, like, he works with masjids to where there's maybe two masjids in Dallas. So it's like Muhammad from this masjid is matched with like Khadija in the other masjid, but they're not that far from each other, right? So it makes, interactions a lot easier. It makes the communities are kind of probably already know about each other. So it definitely helps with that. And he also came out saying that, like, I think if you sign up for In Pairs, he won't charge you if they don't find a match for you at all.
Oh.
Yeah. So before,
Okay.
I think it was like, because the way it works is that they come out with like a list every month.
I think it's
don't
like
quote me
something
on
like
that,
that,
but it's
yeah.
something like that, where they come out with what your matches are at the end of the month. It's not like the other apps where you're kind of swiping right and left or whatever, like your typical
Dating
dating
app
apps that you've
style.
seen. This one's more like hands off. Like you sign up for it, you put in your information, and they'll do all the work for you. So they'll give you your potential partner, or not your potential not partners, but like matches, potential matches at the end of the month, and you kind of say like, okay, yes, no, that kind of thing, and then you just wait for the next month. I can't believe it's every 2 weeks or every month, but yeah, he said that if they can't find a match for you, they're not going to charge you for that month. So
That's pretty good.
that's how another app might benefit from what's happening currently to their competition, Slams, right? So maybe Muzmatch, but that one's their model is very different, right? But they might come out with some type of discount or something to kind of take in.
If you're moving here from Salams, you get a 5% discount. That'd be really funny.
Hey, that could be a thing. I'm just saying. Yeah, but that's definitely been a big controversy recently. It would be awkward if like it was Salams that ended up like supporting, or not supporting, but sponsoring the show.
I know, right?
Yeah. You know, he lucked out on that one, but yeah.
For real.
But yeah, next on the docket, we have the Hands Off March. Have you heard about the Hands Off March?
I've heard of the Hands Off movement for like other things, but
there was an actual march that happened yesterday, and literally all across America, because everybody's been seeing what's happening in America, especially with the tariffs. We can get into that afterwards, but like everybody is suffering right now. Everybody's getting hit from different angles. Like this Hands Off March was for so many different things. Because I think I saw a video of someone reacting to it, or someone in the streets. It was like a black dude. He's like, hey, one thing that I know things are serious because I'm just seeing a bunch of old white people here and veterans. And like, you know, it's bad when like the people who typically you see voting conservative are out here marching against the government.
That's true.
Right? So it was like millions of people across like every state. Every state had a march, the Hands Off March. And specifically in DC, like for us specifically, of course, we're more concerned about what's happening in Palestine. So they had a lot of people there for that, you know, hands off Palestine, trying to support people. I believe Omar Suleiman actually spoke at the event.
Oh, he went to DC for it?
He went to DC for it. There are other Muslim content creators or just people who are pro-Palestinian who were coming on stage as well and speaking out about it. And then, of course, he had the other people who were mad about the tariffs. And to get into the tariffs, I guess, Trump finally went through with his threat, and he came out with this giant chart, and he tariffed 180 countries in the world, basically almost every country in the world. And like the way he did this, it literally did not make any sense. Like they said the calculations he did to come up with these random numbers, with these numbers for what he's going to be tariffing these other countries, doesn't economically make sense, because essentially how the equation broke down for how he came up with this is like the amount that America exports to that country versus the amount that America imports from that country. So he divided that number and made it into percentage and gave that, which doesn't make sense because there are plenty of examples of countries that produce certain things that America can't produce themselves, whether it be coffee, whether it be certain types of oil, whether it be like materials for textiles. A lot of these things just can't be produced in America because they don't have the plants or whatever in that country to make it. So, you know, you're gonna have a disparity in the amount of stuff that you're taking in from that country versus what you're exporting to them. Because America, their biggest export has always been the joke, is their biggest export is like entertainment, right? They don't have much else to export to other countries outside of maybe oil and stuff like that. So yeah, you're seeing like countries that are getting like 60% tariffs. And
that's insane.
Yeah, like 60, 30, 40. And even the countries, like his whole thing is saying like, it's unfair that we have this deficit. He's becoming a trade deficit, which is what I just explained, where they're taking in more than they are exporting to them. He thinks that's a bad thing just immediately, or like by default it's a bad thing when it's not, because what I just mentioned. So for the countries where there might be a trade surplus, where America is exporting more to that country than importing, you think, okay, you know, that's not, from his perspective, they should not be someone who's taking advantage of America, like he says. But he still put a minimum of a 10% tariff on them, which made no sense.
He's just going to cause, like, everyone's going to end up making America the enemy.
Yeah, and we saw that with the, like, they say the stock market is not a one-to-one indicator of the economy, but it could be a indicator of like where it could be, where it might be going. Yeah. Right? Because it's like it includes a lot of sentiment about what's going on with the economy. So immediately, once he implemented that, the stock market started crashing. Like just dropping. I heard about that. Like 6% one day, 6% another day, which is unheard of. Like this is the biggest drop that has happened ever in the stock market, right? And it's happened before in the past, right? So, and the thing is that there is actually precedence for this, for something similar like this happening in the Great Depression. In like 1929, the American government, the Great Depression was already in play, like already happening. And the American government thought like, okay, how do we, beef up our economy, right? And for some reason, they thought that increasing their tariffs would help, bring jobs back to America and, promote production within America. But it did the exact opposite. So we know that tariffs don't work. But of course, he still went through it. And like now people are kind of jumping ship. There are a lot of people within the Trump's like administration who are like, yeah, we don't know what's going on here. We might even just quit for this. There are a lot of like right wing talking heads, or like, what do they call it, influencers, who are starting to jump ship as well and saying, okay, this is a bad idea. I don't know what he's thinking right now.
Have any of the countries retaliated by?
Oh yeah, a lot of countries are retaliating with more tariffs on them, right? Canada. Weirdly enough, Canada, us specifically, has been like left out of the general like 100% tariff on everything. Not 100% tariff, but like on these tariffs that he put on other countries is for everything. But for Canada, he's like, I'm only going to put these tariffs on for like the automotive industry, which is the biggest trading that we do within America.
Yeah.
With America outside of like lumber.
Yeah.
Right. So this is still going to affect at least some of our markets,
like
right?
car prices.
Yeah, like car prices, but
as if they already weren't high enough.
Exactly, right?
Damn.
So everything is going to be affected by this.
Yeah.
Globally, this is a global crisis, which is why I feel like it's important to kind of continue to speak about these, because like people might be like, oh, in the middle of, I don't know, you're the one Egyptian listener we have, they may not think that a lot of things we speak about affect them, but this specifically, this action that he's taking right now affects everyone in the world.
Which is crazy that he's even doing that.
Yeah. And of course, the moment he implemented this, guess where he goes? Guess where this orange man goes?
Where did he go?
This guy went to a golfing tournament in Mar-a-Lago.
So funny.
He flew
he's actually
to Mar-a-Lago.
I don't even know where that is.
That's his like golfing. That's his like escape. The place that he stays the most. He does not like staying at the White House. He goes to Mar-a-Lago. It's like his resort.
Where
in
is
Miami.
It? Oh, in Miami.
Or not in Florida. In Florida,
okay,
sorry.
Okay.
It's in Florida. And he goes there, he has his own like golfing course, and he runs like tournaments there all the time.
He's so goofy.
Yeah, people are like looking for him in this time of crisis, and he's literally in the middle of a golfing tournament. And there was like another thing going on where America, I guess in Lithuania, they had these training exercises with the military, and somehow they lost like 4 of their American soldiers in this training exercise.
Like they died?
Yeah, they passed away. So they're flying them back, right? And typically when something like this happens, the American the president will go there to like be there with the families and like accept this
like the loss?
accept the return of their bodies.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. It is something that presidents normally always do. And he's like, I can't make it, guys. And when they asked him for why he can't make it, he's like, I just won my first round of this tournament. I'm making it to the next round. I'm sorry, I can't make it. I got this golf tournament going on.
That's crazy.
That was literally his response. I have a golf tournament going on.
You're the president of the United States of America, and you're more concerned about a golf tournament. Like, where are your priorities?
And the thing is that, ironically enough, I think it was during like Biden's presidency, whatever, there was a similar situation where he was receiving the bodies of soldiers who passed away, and I can't remember what it was exactly for, but there was a big controversy because Biden went to it. Okay. He went to this thing, but he checked his watch. He was just standing there. He was like this. He was just standing there. Everybody's like, they're standing. He goes like this for a second, and he goes back down and continues with whatever. And it was a huge controversy, of course, on like Fox News or whatever, just because he checked his watch.
Because it looks like he's like, are they almost done?
Yeah, exactly. And then you have this happen. Not a peep from them.
I'm sure he controls the media.
He doesn't. Like his influence is what controls the media. Because they know that if they start speaking out about him, he'll start making some tweets. All the MAGA supporters will go against him, against that media outlet, call them like, what's that word they call them again? Like corporate media, whatever. And yeah, now they lose a bunch of their support. So they gotta kind of like, play the part.
Yeah.
But yeah, so these tariffs have been causing a lot of issues because people are like, oh, what matters if the markets fall or whatever. And
I mean, it definitely does matter.
The thing is that a lot of, in America specifically, and even around the world, a lot of people's retirement funds, like in America specifically, is like TFS, not TFS, 401ks. And in Canada, it's like RSPs. And if you're like TFSAs, if you're like controlling it yourself, these are like different ways of investing for your future, or at least for retirement. All these are tied to the market. So when these come down, all these people who have all this money into their in their retirement, it's losing its value. Yeah. Right? So that's why it affects a lot of older people, right? And on top of that, of course, you had, because this is all in, I'm kind of speaking around the march that happened, the hands-off march. And then besides that, you also have the people who lost their jobs. A lot of veterans I mentioned, a lot of people are losing their jobs, like in the IRS, in these other federal, not bureaucracies, federal bureaus, like basically in the federal government, like a lot of people are losing their jobs. And those are the people who are also joining this march as well. So that's why there's such a huge group of people you normally don't see out on the streets who are taking part in this march. It's like people from all walks of life, which shows you how serious this is. I think my wife Hanan made a comment where she's like, I wonder if I wish we could tell who was a Trump supporter, because that's how you really know if the mindsets or the sentiment towards Trump is actually changing, right? Because people forget that more than half the country voted for this guy.
That's true,
right? So that's the most ridiculous thing. You voted for this. You knew who this kind of person he was.
Sorry.
What happened?
I really have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, no. Okay, go. Okay, Sara's back. But yeah, there's a lot. I was talking about the hands-off movement. Another aspect of it that I forgot to mention, another aspect of it is that there's also, we talked about Mahmoud Khalil last time, who was, disappeared off the streets, literally, and he's still being detained right now. And now we have another person, and we're hearing about more cases, but this is another one that blew up, which was a Turkish student this time, called Rumeysa Öztürk. She's from Turkey, like I mentioned, but she was literally abducted on the street. And there's this weird thing that the ICE agents have been doing. They're all wearing masks. They're all hiding their identity. And you're seeing every video you see with them out here literally taking people off the streets. They're always wearing masks. Why are you trying to hide your identity? You're already doing something horrible. So what? Take responsibility for it, right?
Super sketchy.
Yeah, there's supposed to be agents. Why you're not supposed to be covering your face like that?
Yeah.
Yet they're still doing it. And yeah, you can see the video. It's a very disturbing video where she's just walking down the street. A dude walks up to her. She thinks that the dude's just trying to ask her a question at first. And then he immediately tries to put his hands on her, and you see 6 other people just come out of nowhere and surround her and handcuff her and throw her into her truck, and now people just don't know where she is.
I think because the ICE agents probably are aware that if they're abducting people, I'm gonna say it that, on the streets, there's so many surveillance cameras now.
No, but let them be known who they are.
Yeah, but they're probably afraid for their own safety.
I don't know, man. If you're already afraid for your safety, you shouldn't be doing that job.
I mean, true. You're not wrong.
So they're supporting a fascist government in what they're doing, essentially. Yeah. So, and this has become so normalized that, or so much expected now that people are actually fleeing. They're fleeing America for Canada. First off, there were 3 people. There were these 3 professors from I think it's Yale, who they weren't scared for being abducted by the government or anything, but they actually left because specifically, ironically enough, they specialize in fascistic movements and government. That's where their expertise is. Yeah. So they already saw when they're leaving the country, you already know things are getting really bad because they are the experts in this. They know where this is leading to. Right. So they actually left and are now working at University of Toronto.
No way.
Yeah.
They were accepted instantly.
Yeah. And there was specifically another student who, I forget her name. She was an Indian student. She was here on a visa. And I guess ICE was coming after her because they were trying to revoke her student visa, possibly for protesting as well. And when they came to her dorm, they found out she wasn't there, and later it was revealed that she actually already went to Canada, and is now like seeking asylum in Canada. It's crazy that this is something that like people are usually, when you hear people seeking asylum or seeking protection, it's from a country
like a war-torn country.
Yeah, war-torn country or somewhere where like the government is going after, you know, certain people for their political views. That's what's happening in America, and now they're coming to our country. It's crazy to think that America is that country now, where people can't like now even students, like people in college and in universities, they're being more protective, or they're being more
selective on who they accept. You mean?
Not the university themselves. The students are being a lot more cautious about what they post, what they wear outside, like where they have their phones on. I think there was a TikTok I saw. I don't know if this was one of the reasons, but there's someone who's like, where's all the Gen Z people at these protests? The one I was talking about, the hands-off protest. And someone in the comments is like, yo, Gen Z is scared out here. A lot of them are students, and they're scared about repercussions for being out here on the streets. And they're like, the ones that have gone out have turned off their phones or left their phones at home and covered their faces just so they can't, because, you know, they're using all these cameras and AI now. Right. They're just so they can't be identified for their like physical features, because now the government, they have all their face identification data or whatever. Yeah. They have all the surveillance. They can see who you are. Yeah. You remember those videos we saw when the Palestine protests were going on, where the police were literally like throwing up cameras in the air and taking video of everyone so they can like track them and have some type of like identification for them. So like you hear about this whole like fascistic state and it's turning to that. People think like they're kind of like going overboard with those statements, but you're seeing it happen in real time.
It's like all I can think about is you know, that like the phrase like "Welcome to America," where it's spelt with 3 Ks.
Yeah, it's all, and it is all kind of in, you know, pursuit of that. Obviously, right?
Yeah, that's the hidden agenda, but it's not really hidden anymore.
It's not. It's pretty like definitely not hidden
out
anymore.
In plain sight.
Exactly. But, you know, it's crazy how people can be manipulated so easily, right? And now that they're defunding, like, education in America, it's only going to get worse, right? So that's something that we've been keeping an eye on up here north of the border. And, of course, for us, it's, like, something we definitely have to keep an eye on because, first off, they're, like, they were supposed to be our biggest ally and our biggest trading partner.
I don't know if we want to be allied with them anymore. Like, that's kind of...
And as we mentioned in the last episode, like, now... even going across the border, people have to be a little bit more cautious and
like
scared.
Us.
Yeah, like even my sister Aisha, she's like, I got a green card, but still, you know, they could deny it. They could do whatever they want at this point, right? Yeah. There are no rules. Yeah. Right. So it's definitely something we've been keeping an eye on, and it's gonna be interesting what's gonna happen in the next few weeks, because he is doubling down on the tariffs and like he's not backing down.
I mean, low-key, he's standing on business, but, like, the wrong business, you know?
Yeah, it's bad business.
Yeah, like, Trump, get your head in the game, please. Like, you were once upon a time allegedly a good businessman. You are not doing a good job running the country.
Yeah, like, and there's definitely, like, some nefarious reason, like we mentioned there, but I don't know how, like, I don't know where they're going to go from here. Like, what's the next step? Because now that the tariffs are in, like, what's the next step? What are they going to do next? They've already been, like, taking people off the street. I think I even saw a video to go back to them taking people off the street. But this is more about, like, the South Americans who are being taken, or people who have come from Mexico. They're people with American citizenship or proper visas, work visas and stuff from Mexico, who are taken up off the street, taken to Mexico, and just left on the road there. Nothing like these are people. When I'm saying people, like random people they're taking, these are people with full on families. They have houses, they have jobs. There's a guy they specifically filmed and like followed his story, and he was literally just going into work. He has a job, he has a house, he has a car, everything. He literally has a work truck. He has a work visa. He's getting ready to get citizenship, whatever. They just picked him up at work. He was transferred to different facilities across America, and eventually he was dropped across the border in Mexico.
But, like, why?
What?
Just because?
Just because. He's not a criminal or anything. Before, they were saying, oh, we're going to go after criminals, right? But they're just picking up random people. right? And there's that whole thing where they're selling people to jail in Venezuela.
What?
It's like a maximum security jail. They're saying like all the gang members and like MS-13 whatever has been placed here, but then there were multiple cases, and even one that the administration admitted to getting wrong, of a family man who was taken here. This is a jail where immediately when you get there, they put you in like plain clothes, they shave off your head and just like put you in these giant cells with hundreds of other people. And this is a regular family man who's put in a cell with like confirmed gang members as well, right? So he's definitely not safe being there.
That's crazy.
And they're like, okay, you admitted that you're wrong to take this guy here. He's a citizen and whatever, and he has the right papers. And they're like, yeah, but we're still not going to bring him out.
What?
Yeah. So these are the things that are coming out and that are happening down there. And it's crazy that's happening right across the border. And like, you know, the people are still acting like it's actually, no, I was going to say people are still acting like it's business as usual, but
no, it's not.
Clearly that's not the case.
Yeah, it's definitely, that's insane.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's the update on what's been going on in the past 2 weeks. And it seems like every 2 weeks you can continue to give updates on what's going on. Right now, I don't know what the next step is. Tariffs were like a big thing we've been talking about in the past couple months. Now they've been implemented. So now it's just the, what do you call it? The fall off, or the, what is it when like there's an explosion? It's like the aftermath. The aftermath? Yeah, the aftermath. What's going to happen? How does this affect everything? How does it affect Canada? Because I'm thinking we're not the ones who are imposing tariffs on the other countries. We're trying to create better relations with those other countries right now.
Right.
We have an election coming up in a month.
Yeah. Or the end of this month.
At the end of this month.
Yeah.
People are saying it's most likely going to be a liberal government again. They're going to win again because I mentioned before, the Conservative Party has been tied to Trump and stuff, and like with all this stuff going on, it's not helping them. Definitely. Right. So
I mean, if they're able to have a successful campaign where they can truly distance themselves and like earn the trust of Canadians, they might have a fighting chance, but it doesn't sound like they're doing that. So.
Yeah, and in times like this where, you know, there's a lot going on and we're currently like in a fight with our biggest ally.
Yeah.
Typically people don't like regime changes, or they don't like party changes in the middle of that. True. So, you know, their chances are a lot higher, at least in the liberal side.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to see what's going to happen with us, because hopefully it doesn't increase our prices. It might increase our groceries, but other products that usually come from other places like China or Europe, whatever, those might stay the same. Maybe we might even get better deals. We'll see. We don't know, right? It's kind of like uncertain right now. That's why the markets are kind of going down and everything is kind of up in the air.
Yeah.
Right?
Hopefully there's like an equilibrium that happens.
So everything that's happening right now in the world is like connected. Even going back to what's happening in Palestine right now, right? I was watching a video and it was Bison, and she's like, you know, this isn't just we're not just going back to how it was before the ceasefire, right? Where like, you know, they're bombing indiscriminately. Like now it's even worse, right?
Yeah.
Like they're attacking places that have some type of like pull in the international realm, whether it be like UN centers and stuff like it. They're just bombing those centers as well. Places where people typically thought would be for sure safe, right? And you hear about what happened recently with the 15, the 15 first responders.
Yeah.
And they were, it was said, so first off, okay, this was a report. First off, there was a report where 15 first responders were unalived by the Israeli army, right? And these were like not just by a bomb, like this is like they could see them, and they shot them like they shot these individuals. They know who they were shooting at, right? And their official story was that they were suspicious vehicles approaching without emergency lights. That was a big thing. Without emergency lights, no indicators at all, just suspicious vehicles approaching them, and they felt like they had to open fire, right? So then it was revealed that one of the people who was actually unalived had a video on his phone before he was unalived when he was filming it, and you could see they're all driving with their lights on, like clearly marked emergency vehicles, like a fire truck, ambulances, and you just see they start getting shot at, and like these are vehicles with their lights on, right?
Yeah.
And of course they're like, we got to get the other side of the story now. We got to ask about like, what do you say to this, right? This is contradictory to your story.
there's nothing to say.
That's the thing. There's nothing to say. Why do you even need to get the response from them? This was a news station was saying we need a response, but why you see what the evidence is here, right? And of course, it was like, oh yeah, we made a mistake. That was totally us. That's on us. And of course, nothing after that, right? There's no consequences. The thing is that no matter what happens, there's going to be no consequences for them.
Yeah.
This is not going to be a huge story. No one's going to talk about this. New York Times is ironically the one that broke this. They usually seem to be on the pro-Zionist side, but they broke this. And once the response was gone, like, there's going to be no loss of support from the general, like, Western government. So it's also disheartening, and like it breaks your morale when you see these things. Morale for the people there already, I've heard, has been like severely destroyed because when you go from all out war to a ceasefire, like, you know, your morale's up, but it only lasts 2 months.
Yeah.
Like that would destroy anyone.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, just everything you thought you could rebuild is being destroyed again, right? Yeah. So especially the fact that these people came back to an area that was supposed to be safe. Yeah, it was supposed to be safe and had a lot of heavy fire, and that same area is unsafe again. But this time they're not giving them warnings. Before, remember, that was a big thing. They were like, "Oh, we're the most humanitarian army out there. We give warnings before we bomb places." But they're not doing that anymore. They're literally just indiscriminately bombing. They don't care about their hostages. Sorry, I know I'm ranting a lot in this episode, but it's just it's.
I don't think it was ever about the hostages.
Yeah, it never was.
That they were just a scapegoat.
Yeah, and now even the people of that country are like protesting against their government, but the government doesn't care.
I know they don't.
Yeah,
care.
they're all doing it. They're just doing it to hold power, and I think it just exposes that they never really care about those hostages to begin with.
Inshallah, justice will be served, and it'll be so worth everything that all of the oppressed people have gone through. Like, it's easy to lose hope, but I think it's just a reminder that we always, like, all Muslims have is like that faith in God. Like, just hold on to that faith. And I feel like we can all agree that Palestinians have the strongest tawakkul that I think I've ever seen in life. Like, I've never seen anyone else maintain their faith as much as they have. I don't know. It's very hard, but at the same time, it's just remembering, like, God will deal with those people.
And I hope that because of what's happening currently in America, they'll lose their influence. And by them losing their influence, it also loses influence just by default because they're the ones who are being funded by them, which is one thing to get into. So something weird that happened in America was, do you know who Cory Booker is?
That name sounds familiar.
He's a politician. He's a Democratic politician in America. He did this whole like thing where he did a filibuster for 25 hours on the House floor. Well, filibuster is basically where like they come up to speak and they just continue speaking, so nothing can move forward on. Like they can't continue with their usual passing of laws or. Usually a filibuster, that's why it's kind of awkward. Not awkward, but it's weird because there was nothing really going on. He kind of just did this. Typically a filibuster would happen whenever like a bill is about to be passed and they're trying to delay it as much as possible. And then like, because as long as someone is speaking up there, they can't continue with their votes or with the government basically. So he did that for 24 hours. It was clearly just like for the publicity. Because he wasn't blocking anything. He's kind of doing it for himself and for his own, like, just ego, I guess. Sure, it might have maybe helped with morale slightly in the Democratic government because it looks like they're trying to do something. But it kind of defeats the purpose when nothing is being passed at the time.
Right.
But besides that, like, in this 25 hours, he spoke about everything that we just spoke about. Everything that the government is doing, but didn't mention Palestine once. And then on top of that, I think it was like literally the next day or 2 days after, they voted to give more funding to Israel. Yeah, this same guy was out here speaking for the people, you know, justice and all this stuff, yet he's still a Zionist.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Such hypocrites, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, what do you do, right? Because the other option to what's happening right now is the other party that still supports this going on and what's going on in Palestine, right? But yeah, it's literally the situation where you're like between a rock and a hard place. Yeah, we're not making decisions for the Americans, but every decision they make affects us. So that's why we're so invested in this.
But it's also like And when you think about it, yeah, like the Americans have a say with their vote,
Mm-hmm.
but even then, like what the government does is not always in the control of the U.S. citizens. So like,
Mm-hmm. Well,
they're
like,
doomed either way.
yeah, it could be, but it's almost, it seems like almost an impossible task.
Yeah.
Like there are certain things that citizens can do to.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, right. They can speak. They can vote for independence, right? They can make sure that the parties are choosing candidates that are actually for their interests, right? But it requires a larger movement that a lot of people are just don't have the time because of what's going on. You know,
right.
They're scared of like if they can even find their next meal.
I was just gonna say like now that they are facing that issue, they're gonna
be less involved. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a lot been going on in the past.
It's been
couple of weeks. Yeah, where you know, I know it's a lot of our podcasts have been centered around politics, but there's a lot going on in the West right now, and it's all connected to the things that we are interested in, our self-interests, and I feel like even the world's self-interest now, because it's all connected and just like a superpower in the world. So it's I feel like it's important to mention these things. But yeah, if you liked.
It's not everyday fun, okay?
Exactly. But yeah, if you found anything that we spoke about interesting, want to give your own opinions, make sure to leave a comment down below. Yeah. But if you want to hear more from us, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit like the video. I think Sara said, you know, if you hit like 200 likes, I might join this, or I will join this marathon. We'll make
custom shirts. And then we might...
Yeah, not marathon. Sorry, 5K.
We might do a giveaway with these custom shirts, maybe. Not the ones that we wore, but like we'll make you special ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we can, you know, why not? We'll try and see if we can like source some type of merch or like make something ourselves.
Okay, if we're going to do that...
Not whole merch, like, you know, like individual...
I know, but if we're going to do that, I think we should up the likes then. 200? We could do that.
No. 200, I feel like... Let's start low.
Let's...
200 to get me to join, and then what? Next thing for the shirts giveaway.
I think we should do a giveaway when we hit 10K, personally.
Okay.
Subscribers. So, guys, tell your friends, your cousins, your mamas, your aunties, your uncles, your dads, your brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Subscribe. Be part of the under 10K club. Let me see what we're at actually right now.
I think we're at like 8 something.
Do we need to be more consistent? Yes. Do we need to have more fun content? Yeah, but like...
I need to make more clips, definitely.
We're getting there. We are at 792.
792?
Yeah. So close to 8.
Okay. 8792.
No, 792.
Oh, 792. Okay.
So 7,920.
Ah, okay. So when you said 3 numbers, I was like, wait.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
But yeah, again, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, follow us on our platforms, Cousin Connection Pod.
What's our final like for the video? 200 to get Amir to sign up.
Yeah. And 300.
We will decide on the giveaway when the time comes.
Yeah,
but 10K is what we're aiming for.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, but for now, it's just 200 likes to get me to join this 5K.
Yes, we'll see. You guys can do that.
But yeah. We'll also cover comments next week. Sorry, I know we didn't do that this week. We kind of went on a little bit longer. But yeah, we'll cover that next week. But until then, we'll see y'all later. Bye. You forgot to say bye.
I mouthed it, but I didn't say it. Let's do it again.
Okay.
Bye.